Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys, these are fun. These Reddit Ask Reddit videos about like stuff between America and Europe, I knew about them for a while, but I avoided them for a while because I just didn't think I'd enjoy them that much, and I ended up finding them very entertaining. So, preemptive, like, what is socially acceptable? Can't read. What is socially acceptable in the U.S. that would be horrifying in the U.K.? Perfect. Let's go. Hope everyone's doing well. Original link, top description. Did I like? Yes. Best posts and comments.
What is socially acceptable in the US that would be horrifying in the UK?
Guns.
Always horrified by the ads, both the content and the recurrence. Bloody hell. All your TV has like an ad a minute. I took my British boyfriend to pro-American football game and he was so confused by all the pauses. Had to explain that we were waiting around for the people at home to watch commercials. I told him once that British shows have so much less dialogue than American ones, and he brought up the addition of adverts here. There's more time for nuance when you don't have to hear about migraine meds and car insurance every 7 minutes.
Wait, what? Had to explain that we were waiting around for people at home to watch commercials. I told him once that British shows have so much less dialogue than American ones. And he brought up the addition of adverts here. So he was claiming that that's additional dialogue?
Hang on, they pause a live game, so people not at the game can watch adverts. The F is this nonsense? Stores showing the price pre-tax. Here in the
This is probably my biggest agree.
UK, the price you see is the price you pay. As
Why not just, the reason this one frustrates, I can't speak right now. Jesus. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. The reason this frustrates me so much is that I don't see the reason not to. You know the taxes that are going to be applied, so why not just add that to the cost? I'm not saying you have to get rid of the tax. Just add it to the cost. I'm so confused.
someone terrible at maths, shopping in the US stressed me out so much. Greeters in supermarkets just feels fake as F. Gaps in bathroom stalls.
I love how quick that was. Oh, yeah.
When my American friend said I was double fisting because I had another pint before my other was finished, I thought he meant something else entirely.
I remember in college, something we would do is tape 2 40 ounces to each hand, and you couldn't untape or use your hands or go to the bathroom, because how you gonna do that until you finish them? That'd be double fisting, not, you know.
The weird thing is fisting is also a sexual term here.
Yeah,
Sharing
true.
dorm rooms in college. Pretty much unheard of in the UK.
Really?
I'm British and have been to university in both countries. When I discussed this topic with the Americans, they all assumed straight away it's because we're so prude. I think based on the assumption it was because we didn't want to have to change in front of another person.
But you're usually... I enjoyed having roommates, but it's not like they're co-ed roommates. So why would that mean prude?
But that's also a British stereotype over there. I found that funny as it's the opposite. A big reason why we don't share rooms is because we all want to have a lot of casual sex after nights out. Obviously Americans do this too. It's just so much more effort to get some privacy. When my Brit friends were visiting, they were horrified when the waiter took their credit card to...
I'm sorry. Brought me back there.
When my Brit friends were visiting, they were horrified when the waiter took their credit card to swipe back at the terminal. This made them really uncomfortable. Yeah, and then bring you the receipt to sign it. I'm in Europe and I haven't signed a credit card receipt in over a decade. Even my neighborhood farmer who does rounds in his van delivering produce to the neighbors carries a handheld card reader. And since the pandemic almost all of them are contactless. Unlock your phone, put it close to the reader. Done. Paid. I am Canadian. I was at Disneyland a couple years ago and used my credit card's contactless pay system at one of their restaurants in the park because I noticed it had the little logo on the machine indicating it was possible. You know, the technology that has been standard for more than a decade. The person working that till had no clue what the F happened when they suddenly noticed that the transaction had been recorded. They looked at me like I was from some other dimension.
Exactly. I paused to say this.
Despite working at all that had the capacity for contactless pay,
Okay.
that Disneyland employee had never seen anyone use it, and didn't even know that their machine had that capability. That day, I brought the Tomorrowland magic to Disney. I would be uncomfortable too. I'm FRM Canada and they usually hand us the machine so that we can pay ourselves. German here. Same for us. You never give your credit card to anyone else. If you do and someone steals from you, the bank insurance might actually refuse to pay anything back to you. Anything taking over an hour to get to being a short trip, there's an insane amount of Americans that think taking over an hour to get to being a short trip. There's an insane amount of Americans that have an hour or more as their daily commute. I have a bus run that takes almost 2 hours just to drive one half of it. It's another 2 or so to finish up. A full shift on that route is 2-3 rotations. It blows my mind people can drive that amount and end up in a different country when I'm just going through 2 cities. If we drive 2 hours the accent has changed twice and bread rolls have a new name. I live in Texas, recently made a day trip 2.5 there 2.5 back that night. That's pretty normal here.
You know the frustrating thing about this? And first of all, it depends on what you're doing, what you're driving to. So if you're driving to the supermarket, yeah, an hour is an insane amount of time to do that, okay? But if you're driving like to another city in another state, and it takes an hour, I mean, that's nothing. I'm really close to Boston, and that's about 45 to an hour, depending on traffic. The other thing that I forget. Oh yeah, the other thing that makes me frustrated is that I only have a few trip experiences in Europe. So you've probably heard this before if you've been watching me. But me, my dad, my brother went to Europe last time, like 7 years ago. To drive around Europe. And the thing that was bewildering is that we're so known for our car-centric infrastructure, and you guys are more known for your public transportation infrastructure, and still your car travel seemed way better than our car travel. And so it's like we have the worst of both worlds, and you have the best of both worlds.
Yet Californian.
Oh my God, Texas? Yeah, forget it. I live in the smallest state, by the way, so it's a bit different.
Too. There's a lot of great stuff 3-4 hours away from me. It's far easier to day trip to the mall vs trying to find lodging. A rubber in England is not the same as a rubber in the US. What is a rubber in England?
I learned the difference in this from was it a Morecambe and Wise sketch? A British comedy sketch where they were on a train and one of the actors was asking a nun for a rubber, and I thought he was asking her for a condom, and I kind of laughed thinking that was a joke. Turns out that wasn't what he was asking for.
A rubber in England is not the same as a rubber in the US.
It's an eraser,
What
right?
is a rubber in England? An eraser. However, in both cases, one uses a rubber to avoid a lasting mistake. Calling Where's Wally, Where's Waldo? My life is a lie. In French his name is Charlie. Waldo vs Wally can put their differences aside to deal with this When somebody says you should come to their house sometime, actually going by their house sometime. Really wish I knew this one before spending a year in the UK. I did some serious prep on the cultural norms but missed this one. Cue me chatting to someone at a luncheon who says very enthusiastically you should come over for dinner sometime, and me responding I'd love to. Would next weekend work? She got super uncomfortable and awkward and just walked away without saying anything. I was left standing there completely confused. Away without saying anything. I was
It's like the, hey, how are you? It's like we're not actually asking how you are. It's just, hi.
left standing there completely confused. Naming your child Randy. I'm Irish.
That was funny, sorry.
But my dad works for an American company and their CEO's name is Randy Horn. We got a good laugh out of that one. There's an American comic book artist named Randy Queen. The first time he went to London for a comic book convention, he discovered his hotel had cancelled his reservation because they thought it was a prank caller. Allegedly, Scottish comic book writer Grant Morrison choked on their drink when they were introduced, studied psychology A-level and learned about a well-known sleep study by Randy Gardner. No one in the class kept a straight face. Randy Giles? Why not just call me Horny Giles or Desperate for a
I am getting flashbacks to watching Austin Powers. Are you Randy? Now it makes sense.
Jack Giles. I knew there was a reason I hated you. Sigh. So, I went on a trip to Ireland and I learned to had to introduce myself by saying my name is, not I'm, because there was always a pause and a row. You're serious, haha. I talked to one woman and she was like, yeah, we know it's a name because famous people have that name, but we'd never name our kids that. Why is that weird? Sorry, I am American, lol. Randy in the UK is another word for feeling horny. Chatting casually at the lift. The fact that the second floor in the US is the first floor in the UK.
Except for business buildings and hotels, where ground floor is the first floor.
Really confusing the first time I went in an elevator in the UK, saying elevator instead of lift. Commercials advertising prescription drugs. Ask your doctor if OxyContin is right for you. Meanwhile, this behavior would result in notes in your medical record that follow you around every doctor.
Okay, I don't think that OxyContin would be. Maybe like Ozempic. I don't know if I've seen like a serious painkiller advertised on TV.
Office you go to. Addressing a stranger as sir. The only person you address with sir in the UK is your teacher, which is weird because school is the only place we don't use it in America. Your teacher is always Mr. Mrs. Miss. Surname. Politician.
Hello, sir. I feel like if you are like you're yeah.
Mentioning religion.
Sir. Hi, sir. I wouldn't say that to a normal stranger on the street. I would just say, like, hey, how's it going? Hey, what's up?
When campaigning, only a few years ago that Tim Farron got raked over the coals when it came out he was...
Oh, raked. Oh my god, my ears.
Painting. Only a few years ago that Tim Farron got raked over the coals when it came out he was quite religious, which implied he might be anti-gay marriage. Night and day compared with his politics.
Yeah, in a lot of states that'll be a plus.
It haunted that entire general election for him. Everyone knew he was strictly religious but he couldn't really defend himself, as politicians just don't talk about their religion. I remember multiple
It's really ironic how one of our main things is separation of church and state, and yet we're known as the ones that are more promoting religion in our politics.
Journalists asking if he thought being gay was a sin and he just had to dodge every question. Ice-T, you trying to start another war? OP offered a pretty steep
It's going... Never mind.
invitation to do so. You trying to start another war? OP offered a pretty steep invitation to do
I like iced tea. I probably like iced tea better than hot tea.
so.
Don't
Huge
kill me.
portion sizes. Kids meal in US is like a adult meal in UK. My observation. Brits drink alcohol like Americans eat. Americans eat a lot more and have bigger portions. But holy sh, folks from the UK drink way more than your standard American. Hard to explain how much more. I remember drinking with Brits the first time. I was fresh out of college in my drinking prime. I reached the point where I normally hit the brakes and take it easy. And instead they just hit the gas. Bum bag, not fanny pack. Costs over the...
It's fanny pack. I have a fanny. It goes on my fanny. It's a fanny pack. I know that means something else for you guys, but I'm saying for us, I have a fanny. Fanny pack. Goes on my fanny. Or it can go in the front.
Your fanny means your ass, not your ming. Bites Scotch egg. Being permitted to turn right at a red light, or even left if turning from one-way street to another one-way.
Yeah, definitely right on red. Not always, but a lot of the time. If you can't turn right on red, there will be a sign saying no right on red. But can you turn left on red on a one-way street? Maybe.
Way street in some states, unless there
Yeah, exactly.
is a sign specifying no turn on red. Saying someone has a lot of spunk. My late cat's name was Spunky. Named her when I was 4 and thought I had made the word up entirely. In the US it was a cute and accurate name for a cat. When I moved to England I just referred to her as Cat. The full name is Cat Thew. What does spunk mean in the UK? Where I'm from we've always used it to mean high energy.
Yeah, this is a weird thing. I can say I have a fanny and I have a lot of spunk. And that's not a weird. It's like, okay, but it's not a weird thing to say. It's.
Someone has spunkacker they
But to you guys, it'd be like, what the hell did you just say?
have lots. Where I'm from we've always used it to mean high energy. Someone has spunkacker they have lots of pep and energy. Mayo never mind I got the answer. Thank you. There was a line in The Last Jedi where Snoke says to Rey you've got a lot of spunk in the midst of a big serious confrontation scene and I just couldn't stop myself laughing in the theater. I heard the line.
Sorry guys, I ran out of space and it stopped recording. I'm gonna stop here. I was gonna stop soon anyway. I wasn't gonna go through the whole video. I can always make another video about the rest of it. I know bender. I'll go on a bender. Much different thing over here. Love y'all. I hope everyone's doing well. Would appreciate any comments down below. And hopefully I'll see you guys next time. That was a lot of fun. Bye guys.